Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is our recap for All Stars 2, Episode 2. My name is Zach. I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's up?
My best friend, Jeyyy.
Yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Smashing Heads Podcast.
Yeah, not the knockoffs.
I had a girl ask me what the podcast is that I do, what's the name of it and stuff. I told her Smashing Heads, and I was like, without context, there's a weird little connotation to it. Smashing Heads.
Yeah. What'd you say? What'd she say? Oh, you didn't understand either of those questions?
You okay?
Yeah. Well, she found it. I haven't heard anything back.
Okay.
But what I said, what'd she say? What'd you say? And you said,
you didn't answer either of those questions.
Well, it's two different questions.
It sure
you didn't
is.
answer either one.
Yeah, well,
I'll take an answer for each.
Smashing Heads.
Is this her talking?
No, it's me. The history is that it's not always best that girls know that I do a podcast.
This is what
Is
you
this
told
what you
her.
said to her?
No, I'm just. This is me talking in the moment. Right
Okay,
now.
that's still
I'm
answering
here.
the question. We asked what you said.
What did I say?
Yes.
Oh, I initially was like, you could probably figure it out. It ain't hard to find because it's right there on my Facebook page. To which she was like, "Oh, I found it."
She said, "What's that about?" And you're like, "It's not hard to figure out, you idiot."
That's not okay. No, that's. But anyway, the track record here is it's probably best to keep the podcast as dormant as possible,
That's not the right word.
or as undiscovered as possible.
Dormant means we're not doing anything.
Until things start to progress. Because the history, you guys are married, so you don't have to worry about this.
Mm-hmm.
You can say whatever you want to on here. I can say.
No,
I can say
we can't say whatever we
I
want to on here.
But what I'm getting at is there have been multiple times now where I start dating said girl. She figures out I do a podcast, goes and listens to, say, a Wes interview.
Specifically,
and
the West
determines
interview.
that determines that I'm nothing but a player and a womanizer. Which you can go back and listen to that podcast. How you come away with that is beyond me. So, and it's also not true. And then I want to give a shout out to all these 1-star reviewers out there who have deemed me and Zach as just
we're not getting
sexist.
We're not getting 1-star reviews anymore.
I mean, but they're out there.
I mean, they've been out there. Sure.
I think what also
hasn't let it
happens
go.
is they go back and look at the reviews, and there's reviews out there that say Jake and Zach are such sexist, misogynistic, the definition of toxic masculinity, and it's like, well, no.
Good rebuttal.
But thanks.
Nah.
Like, that's out there now. You bunch of jerks. You pansies leaving 1-star reviews, getting your feelings hurt because we had a good time on here. Hannah, are you fine? Are you okay? You're a strong woman.
Right now?
Just in general, are you okay? Let me just address this. Are you okay? Are we good? I think the people need to know. The 1-star reviewers out there need to know that you are alive and well. You're good. You're happy.
The three of us, yeah, we're great.
I couldn't be better, right? Am I right?
And I think we talked about this, maybe not this exactly last week, but or the last episode we recorded, because Jake, you and I got into a screaming match.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. After about a minute or two, we were like, hey, that was silly. We can talk it out. We're good. So I guess what you're saying is you think that there's listeners out there in the multiverse that are concerned about my well-being.
We don't live in.
We
live in a multiverse now.
There is.
I'd love to see the other versions of
multiverse.
me.
Yeah.
I would too. One of them has a perm.
Yeah.
No, that was this one.
Yeah.
No, there's one that still got the perm and then kept it.
Yeah.
To any listeners that are worried now, Jake, you did not put me up to this or anything.
No. No.
If there's anybody out there listening that is worried about my well-being in the presence of
What are we doing?
toxic masculinity, if anything, if anything were to come up that I deemed inappropriate or crossing the line, you may not
Jake's
know.
referring to stuff from like a year plus ago.
You may not know,
Yeah.
but these two in the room with me know. I'll call you out. I'll beat you down with my hands and my words.
I ruined it. I'm sorry.
I'm done with you. No, if anything, I'm a pretty passive person, but if there's anything that like legitimately bothers me, boy,
you better believe
you're not gonna sleep at night. You're not gonna eat. I will mess you up.
I've seen Zach after a night of not eating.
It's pretty bad. It's pitiful.
Look, it's an equal partnership here, right? I will take a dig at you, Han, as quick as I will Zach.
Yeah, and I love
it's
it.
fun.
Like when you take a dig at me, I love it because it's almost like a love language for me because I grew up in a household where we make fun of each other.
Yeah,
but not like.
But there's not any character assassination happening here. We're not.
I get on all the forums afterwards and under an alias, and I was like, "Can you believe these guys?"
What if Zach's the one just creating all these?
Yeah.
Fake
and
accounts
he's
out there?
upvoting all the bad stuff.
Really burying himself because he's the one that gets it more than anybody.
He's the one that's writing them because bad attention is better than no attention.
Right.
So he's the one that's writing all this stuff about himself.
Yeah, well, what you people didn't realize you were doing is you're really ruining my shot at a happy relationship and possibly a happy marriage here. So you want to go out there and tell everybody that I'm a sexist, misogynistic, jackwagon, and
what's a jackwagon?
Great job, great job.
Yeah,
but you will, I will win in the end.
that's a threat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that was so stupid, but it was a good one.
You can try.
It just caught me off guard.
Y'all are really gonna be disappointed when you see me happily married.
yeah.
Y'all are gonna. I can't. She has no idea,
dude. You know what's gonna be so
I'm crying.
freaking funny. You know what's gonna be so funny.
Yeah.
If that girl that you're talking to, if she hasn't listened to it yet, but she's just pulled up the podcast on her podcast app, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to listen to it tomorrow." And so this is the episode that she starts with, and it starts off with this, and she's like, "Wes interview," and she goes to find the Wes interview, and then she texts you, "Hey, I don't think it's going to work out."
Yeah, just quick little 60-second aside here. I know Zach's wanting to get into things. We'll get there in a second, but there was a girl I was talking to. How long ago was this?
6 months
ago. I don't know who you're...
Was it? No, it wasn't that recent.
It was like spring, man. Summer.
Yeah, I guess it was spring.
It was a long time ago.
It was spring. I think it was like May, June-ish. Wow, that was pretty recent.
No, it was before June.
That'd be 6 months ago.
That does not feel like it was that recent. And like, we had went out on this date. I don't know that even now I've been out on as good of a first date as that one. And so, like, I get excited about it. And, like, we had even, like, later that night, like, met up with some mutual friends. And, like, even the mutual friends were like, man, like, y'all just kind of work together well, huh? And I was like, I mean, I think it's going good, Mm-hmm. We had agreed to go out on a second date that night. Like, we had actually, made plans. She had a dog. I have a dog. And we were going to just go to the dog park together and, hang out, grab some dinner after that. And I got a text 2 days later. This girl just wrote out a book, and she went back and listened to the Wes interview. To which I had, if y'all haven't heard the first Wes interview, if he's invested in anything, he's invested in my dating life. Now, at the time, I was fresh off a divorce. So, he had offered to be my designated wingman, which never panned out. And then he comes on after 2 years again, and, is still investing in my dating life. Well, at that point...
And didn't want to talk about the challenge at all.
Didn't want to talk about
as a bit.
Outright was him. Matter of fact, he refused to talk about the challenge, which we got into a little later. But, at the time, I had just got out of probably the worst relationship I've ever been in.
The first interview or the second one?
Second interview. Mm-hmm. You're familiar.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right? Are you lost right now?
No, I was thinking the second interview was earlier this year.
It was.
Yeah. So that would be post my friend that you dated.
That was during.
During.
Oh, wow. I've got my timelines mixed up.
Yeah,
Anyway,
because you went on a date with this girl like 2 or 3 months after you broke up with my friend.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I went into that and like where I was currently, and so she just chalked that up to basically like I did not realize how much of a a womanizer you are, and I had asked her out from my gym, and she was like, you probably ask out a girl every day from your gym, and I'm just like, no, no, I don't. So anyway, she basically dumped me because of the West interview. Because she didn't want to get played like all other girls, so...
Joke's on her.
Joke's on her, man.
You're the one that got played.
So, God bless her. I wish her well. So, yeah, the podcast has really had an effect on my dating life, and not in a good way. So, I used to, like, share on my story, like, every time and I don't do it no more.
I've noticed.
I just don't. I won't do it no more.
You sad?
No, I'm fine, because, it's gonna be fun.
Well, patreon.com/smashingheads podcast is where you get more things like this.
That's right.
Again, two boner episodes.
Stop. This is a
within
children's podcast.
The last
They
week.
get them too.
They do, and they don't know why.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
We're boys.
We're both.
We did.
It sure
We still
did.
do. Fair?
It is fair. Yeah, just check all that out, and then smashingheadspodcast.com/stores, all the new merch, just in time for Christmases. Currently, it is Monday night, and Thanksgiving is Thursday, and so our recording schedule's kind of up in there until we can figure something out for the holidays. But this is All Stars 2 recap, because we typically want to do these on Sundays, but we just had a lot of stuff going on yesterday, and it wasn't going to work out.
You didn't get to take a nap yesterday, which is...
That's true.
Like, just part of your Sunday ritual.
That's true.
Yeah.
He just wanted to bring that up.
I didn't sit down yesterday.
I just think for context, people need to know.
Yeah. It was.
I'm like that too. Like
it was a long day.
I gotta have a nap. There's something about a Sunday afternoon nap when the sun's just eking through the blinds.
Oh no, I have.
Well, it
I
was
have,
doing that.
tiny bit.
Yes, yesterday it was raining.
I have blackout curtains, so it's dark.
Black as power.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll be recording for Spies, Lies, and Allies at some point this weekend, and then All Stars after that. The Spies, Lies, and Allies is the one that's mainly up in the air just because Thursday's Thanksgiving. So, although I guess we could do it Wednesday this week. I don't know what your schedule's like. We'll figure that out off air. Let's get into another just great episode of All Stars 2.
I told you, guys, like, something we've never seen before.
100%. Yeah. And you're talking about Derek's outfit, right? I got you. So apparently he has some sort of like an influencer deal with like the brand Chubbies, which is why he's wearing all that stuff.
Okay.
I didn't realize that was Chubbies.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Chubbies was doing that.
Yeah.
I know about their shorts, and that's what they started with, and that was, as far as I knew, the extent of it.
No, it's a matching thing, and he's got some sort of a deal, and they're like, hey, wear it on the show. And then it's funny that just became a focal point.
Yeah.
Where multiple people... Anyway, we'll get to that. Am
I allowed to say that if I was going to rag on Derek about anything, in a totally playful way, it'd be his haircut.
That's fair.
It's like a bird. It's just like a floppy bird.
It is kind of bird-like. It's like a
thing, man.
A cockatiel.
It's wild. It's just a strip.
Yeah, but not a mohawk.
Right.
Huh. Cool.
No,
Do you want him to style it different?
I just want him to cut it off. I think he can pull off the buzz down
it's too
look.
high up in the air.
It is. It's like it is so distracting every time he's on the television.
Do you think because he's not like the tallest guy out there that he's doing that to gain a couple
Get a
inches?
little hot.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of things. That it could be a mix of things, and that could be part of it.
Well, him and Jody are nervous about the selections because they know that that's going to kind of put a target on them. I didn't know that Ayanna was a D1 track athlete. I remember her from back in the day, but I don't remember a lot of like specifics about. I mean, they showed the clip last week of her talking about sleeping in the uniform and how important this was to her. But was she from Road Rules or was she?
Oh, Zach, you don't need to ask me this stuff.
Well, I can't ask Anna. She wasn't watching back then. I wrote Ayanna was a D1 track athlete and then wrote doesn't have a name. Oh, I got it. I was like, she doesn't
have a name for who she wanted to go against.
She told Jody and Derek that she's like, I'm not going to pick anybody.
She said she didn't care, which Jody and Derek, neither one of them really liked that because then they're like,
they wanted to pass the blame.
Yeah, so they can say, oh, well, this is who she asked for instead of just putting a target on their own
I was
backs.
like, why did I write she doesn't have a name? That doesn't even make sense.
Her whole logic is that you don't get to pick who you go against in a track meet. So
my note now in context makes sense, but at the like reading back, I was like, I don't know what that means.
You need to take better notes.
But Nehemiah basically said he wants Ryan because he's already beat Ryan on I think they said
one of the gauntlets,
Gauntlet 3 or something like that. And he said if he can't have Ryan, he wants Derek, which Derek is probably the smallest guy on the show. I don't know what his elimination record is, but it can't be good. Although him and Rob beat Tyree and Dunbar, right? In Rivals 2.
Which
they did.
Again,
it's more of Tyree and Dunbar just collapsed.
Yeah, we argued about this
when we watched it that
ago.
season.
I don't think it's that big of an upset when you look at the context of Tyree and Dunbar's.
On paper, if you're just doing physicality.
Without context, sure.
Yeah.
But with context, it's not surprising.
Well, that's when Steve goes after Derek's outfit, which we already mentioned. And you know what? He's a hand model. He knows good looking things.
I think so.
Yeah.
Would my hands look good in this outfit?
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Do you think
that's a legitimate question?
Do you think he counts like fingerless gloves as like tank tops and stuff for his hands?
That's a thought. What I want to know is considering that he's a hand model.
I was wondering about this. I know where you're going.
Have you taken a good look at his nail beds?
Actually, no.
What a disgrace.
I bet you.
I took a look at. Honestly, I took a look at the knuckles. I know, cause some people have like have super large knuckles from popping your fingers too much, and it makes your knuckles swell.
Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah's gonna watch Sonic the Hedgehog at some point.
No, I'm not. At this point, it's just out of spite to you, Zachary, that I don't watch it.
Well,
I can't watch it now.
I bet he's got some top-notch nail beds, though.
I'll probably look the next episode.
The first episode,
I
meant to bring that up after episode 1 when he said he was a hand model. I was like, she's got to have a take on this. It's the one thing that she notices that we've never once in our life. And then the guy who makes a living off of it, you don't say anything about.
Because I haven't looked at his nail beds. I've been looking at his actual hands and fingers.
I think this is the first.
They're good looking hands.
The first knuckle watch we've gotten on the podcast. I don't think we've ever talked about anybody's knuckles before.
Your screen name used to be Knuckle Puck.
No, but I mean, it wasn't a screen name. What are you referring to?
Well, knuckle.
No, I know what a knuckle is.
Do you know what a knucklehead is? Do you know what a knuckle sandwich is?
That wasn't like anything that I used on like AIM or MSN Messenger or anything. No. That, I mean, it's the name of my phone right now.
Knuckle Puck.
Yeah, but it wasn't a screen name that I used.
His screen name was Wiener Dog 97.
No,
or Waldorf. You were
that
Waldorf.
Was one.
86.
That was one.
You weren't born in 86.
It's a whole nother thing. On
probably a Mighty Ducks reference.
It wasn't at all. It was actually a Project 86 reference.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Back in the day on AIM,
Are you saying AIM or AIM?
It's both.
It's AIM.
You were like 4, so you don't get to chime in on that.
No, I was on AIM Messenger.
Well, that's redundant. AIM Messenger.
That's what we called it.
See,
I was
your friends
on
are all
it.
stupid.
All the friends that were on there were private school
all the friends.
jerks.
Love rhymes, yeah, because that was a Blood Brothers reference. And yours was like addiction is in with like
Addiction
exes and
oh yeah,
who knows
boy.
what else.
We got hard.
Yeah, we already covered that earlier on in the episode.
Stop. My question about Steve talking about Derek's outfit. Did he mean to offend him, or was he trying to make a joke?
I think Derek's trying to make a storyline.
Cause like the way Steve said it, I was like, ha ha ha, and then Derek like had this very offended.
How were you like?
Yeah.
No.
Like,
I
hey,
think
what's with your outfit?
Here's the big gripe with Derek that I've seen going around challenge fans that we're friends with, things like that. His big knock always with great competitor. No one wants to go against him. He's kind of boring to watch. And I think on All-Star, especially this season, a little bit of last season, he's really trying to like up the like conflict and storylines. A lot of people think the stuff between him and Nehemiah is completely fake. As far as like their beef and all that, I don't know. That doesn't seem like something Nehemiah would do from what we've talked to him, but it's very possible. Because that was another thing with Nehemiah, was he was just kind of like the mellow guy that was just there to compete, not necessarily involved in a lot of storylines, other than him and Evan had like a weird disdain for each other.
That I think was real.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. But Nehemiah said he doesn't want to be calm, cool, collected anymore.
Yeah, I think Derek took the outfit thing and made it a bigger deal. One, maybe because he's sponsored by the brand and he knows that would get it airtime. And then two, it gave him a scapegoat to go after Steve. Because he's like, oh, you didn't like...
yeah.
Because that's such a stupid reason to nominate somebody.
Well, again, it could be that he thought it was a really baller outfit, but to me, the only guy that could wear something like that and even have a chance of getting away with it is a frat boy at a party school. Mm-hmm. That's it. And Derek is none of those. He's like 20 years too old for it.
Yeah, and that was Steve's thing. He's like, are you really going to be offended that I joked about your bad outfit when you're like late 30s? Like,
yeah, that's why I wonder if Derek actually kind of took some real offense to it.
I think, but also I think he did play it up. But so that's the reason for picking Steve. They said they're not going after Ryan, which that's fine. Like again, Derek's probably known Ryan for a long time. They think Leah for sure, and I think that's the easiest pick in the whole show.
Yeah,
like she didn't fit in with anyone. I think last week, if anyone's going to quit the show, it's going to be her.
Well, she didn't even really want to converse with anybody in the house during that party. She was just kind of like off to the side. And who was it that tried to get her to jump in the pool? Tina.
Yeah.
Tina tried to get her to jump in the pool, which most of the people were jumping in the pool.
Which we found out you can't get silk wet.
Get in the middle of the party, and Leah didn't want to do that. And then in this episode, she keeps talking about how annoyed she is that, your survival in this house really depends not as much on your performance in the daily, but more on your relationships with the other people in the house.
Well, it's also if you got to win the daily to stay safe, that's just how it should be. But the one thing I didn't like about Leah in this episode is she kept like doing these like where she thought it was funny to like be, oh, do I have to be on your Instagrams and like and comment it, or do I need to send you guys TikToks? It reminded me of Bobby Moynihan used to play a character on Saturday Night Live called Drunk Uncle, and he would say stuff like that. He'd be like, you got your Instagram reel, like it's just going off on technology, which is basically what she's doing. And it's like, no, it's like you're just kind of, nobody wants to talk to you, like you're just kind of strange, and also like very outside of this world at this point. And like I wouldn't have even known it was the same girl from the Inferno elimination against Kendall. Just because she doesn't look the same. I don't remember much about her at all, even though we watched that season. So Leah's an easy pick. Casey's pretty easy pick, but they think she'll be safe just because she's got enough friends that they'll throw the votes on Leah.
Well, Casey even said herself that she's not worried about being voted in by the house until elimination because she's got relationships with 95% of the people there.
And I think that's true. And also, like, it's not like she quit or anything this daily. So she should be safe. So it's Steve and Derek and her, Lee and Casey. And then you had like Nehemiah like boxing and talking to Brad, and Brad kind of at that point tried to like distance himself from Derek because Nehemiah was voicing his like frustration about it, and Brad like whoa like yeah we're like we've been cool, but you know it's I don't know what he's doing here, which I'm assuming they were friends, but honestly I can't remember on old seasons like them being like close and working together. I mean, I might be completely missing something.
You guys have seen more than I have.
I know.
I mean, they were always two of the more level-headed.
Yeah, but like I don't ever remember like, oh, Derek and Brad are teaming up to go. I always felt like they were the guys kind of following like third place behind people.
They were both on the outskirts of the same group.
I'm just saying, like, it would make sense if they were more kind of aligned with each other a lot, because they're two of the, you know, if I remember correctly, two of the more level-headed, even kill outside of Brad's drunken, you know, fight with the rail.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is on the intro last week where it was showing Brad and it's like, oh, you can flip this switch and go crazy. The first clip they use is him getting a wedgie by the Miz.
Yeah. Which
is like not. I mean, yeah, he got weird in the van, but it wasn't like him turning into. I don't know. So Jody and Derek go talk to the other Derek. Jody starts crying because she doesn't like the like political side of all of this. She doesn't like, you know, taking somebody's opportunity away from him. But I mean, it's part of it. Everyone who's there knows. But Nehemiah then goes and tells everyone that he wants Derek, because he knows that that's going to be a name going around, and Ryan's not a possibility. So it is smart on Nehemiah's part to just kind of rally before the vote, because we don't know exactly how the vote's going to go. And this season it's called just a selection, not like nominations. And I don't know if you noticed, Jake, but were Derek and Jody out there with them? That's what we were trying to figure out. We couldn't tell if they were out there or not.
I can't even remember, because I watched this the day it dropped.
Yeah, see, we watched it like 2 nights ago. So they let Nehemiah talk first. I don't remember seeing them out there, and a lot of times, you know, if you win and you pick the stuff, you're not involved in this, so it would make sense that they're not there. But Nehemiah tells everyone he's playing this as a business, like he's tired of, you know, whatever, and him and Ryan kind of get into it, and they have this like back and forth, and it's like, well, when are you talking to me outside of the show? And it's just like, I don't know, like I don't have a problem with what Nehemiah said.
No.
It's the typical, you kind of go into defense mode when you get voted in, or you know your name's out there and stuff. So
deflect the attention away from you and onto somebody else.
I do kind of like that, the attitude that Nehemiah has in this. He's like, listen, like this is, although it's he keeps harping on like my future kids and like my family's like legacy for like life-changing money, which sure, but as far as I've seen, I don't even know if that's anything in like his near future or anything like that. Is he even dating anyone? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Not that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
I don't.
What?
We could check with him.
We can call him up and ask.
Contact info.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Let's call him right now.
No.
You want to just hit him up and be like, hey, man, you seen anybody?
Yeah.
Just wanted to know.
Just out of context.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that, again, he's like, this is all business. I don't care what you feel about my decisions. I said what I said for a reason. That's who I want. And then Ayanna just kind of says, you know, vote however you want. But let's leave all this negativity up here before we go down to party afterwards. But they basically go around. It's a pretty landslide. Like Derek and Leah are the picks. Like there's a couple people like the Cancun crew wouldn't vote for Derek, so they voted for Steve. But I think Derek Kaczynski and them didn't like realize that like Steve is such like a old school name that like all those people from the early 2000s are going to just ride with him just because they're closer in age and closer to the same seasons and all that stuff.
Well, Derek got really upset when
Which Derek?
Derek got
Whoa.
I was. Oh, you cut me off, and now I can't.
Oh, I said which Derek? There's 2 Dereks.
I know, but I can't think of his last name because I didn't write it. I've been writing their Derek's out how they spell it.
Well, then just say which one.
Derek is really upset with the way. let me finish. Derek is really upset with the way the voting is going because he thought that he was friends with all these people in the house that are throwing his name out. But what he didn't realize was that most of the people there have been friends with Steve longer than they've been friends with him.
I make it a 1-star review for this. I've never seen anyone struggle that bad with a name.
It's not that. It's just...
God bless you, Ann.
I've had so much going on today, and when you cut me in the middle of my sentence.
I literally just asked which Derek.
I know, but in the middle of my sentence, it threw me off because it just completely threw me off, and I couldn't even finish what I was trying to say.
Clearly, yeah.
Do you know his last name?
We didn't even have to know last name. You could have said Derek,
or Derek C, or Derek K,
or
yep.
old Derek, young Derek.
We all have our struggles.
So. They pick Derek Chavez and I lost it. Aaliyah Gallagher, is that her last name? And so they're the picks. Then they leave that. Then people start to kind of go get ready, and the Cancun group is kind of get together with Ryan. He's kind of like adopted into that Cancun group, and Jasmine's just like, our group's a big target for everyone. And they're like, yeah, for sure. And I was like, arguably they have some of the weakest players that are here.
Or smallest in stature, at least.
I mean, and John A would have fallen in that category, but she proved a lot of people wrong last season.
And she's in better shape this season.
She is.
Yeah, she came back ready to, like, potentially win.
But, I mean, again, like, Derek is smaller, and he's not got a good track record on elimination type stuff. Ryan has been beat by some people on this show already. He's not as big as a lot of the people on the show. And then Jasmine was always one of the smallest people here. Her big thing was just her temper, but that doesn't necessarily help you in eliminations. And so, yeah, I mean, they do have a target, but it feels like it's for a different reason than what, like, Jasmine and them were, like, inferring. But then we get the Spice Girls prom.
Oh, yeah.
And Tyler invited his second cousin.
What was the name he gave?
Tundra.
That's what I thought. Mm-hmm. Tundra. And so, yeah, Tyler is in drag as Tundra. But was Derek here as a neat?
Yes. It was Tina's twin or something.
But we were introduced to a neat in the first episode.
Yeah, last episode.
Yes.
And so everyone's out there dancing. They're all having fun. Again, Spice Girls, great mix. And then they go into Tears for Fears, which just reminds me of Donnie Darko. And
great movie.
Overrated movie.
Excuse you.
It's weird for the sake of being weird.
I do agree with that.
It's just,
I do agree with that.
But
it is good.
I need you to have a point for being that weird.
It's
got a great soundtrack, though.
Oh.
So they do that. Everyone's dancing, having fun, blah, blah, you know. They're like, oh, we're all 17 again. This is clearly something that, like, production was like, hey, we're going to have a prom one night or whatever, because people came with, like MJ was wearing, like, a tuxedo shirt.
That's right.
Like, you wouldn't bring that if you didn't know something like this was happening. And so, again, this is the stuff that they just don't do on current seasons.
I wish they would. This is the fun stuff.
They had, like, 80s dance parties last season where, like, they were all dressed up in, like, I don't know, but probably when Return of the Mac played and it changed your life.
Oh, man. Yeah, boy, I still rock that.
So, again, this just helps alleviate, and even, like, Ayanna in the previous thing during the selection, she's like, let's leave all that negativity here and let's just have fun, which does help the overall, like, morale of the house. You don't have everyone, like, I feel like if you had more stuff like this, rather than just, like, the night outs like we have on the current show, that you wouldn't have the big... blow ups with Fessy and Josh and all that
yeah,
stuff.
and all the night outs are exposition.
Yeah, 100%.
That's literally all they are.
It's, hey,
'Cause
we're
it's just
going to
the
take
same
you to a
people.
bar, but we need you to talk strategy about what's happening.
And they're the only people in the bar.
Yeah.
So me and my little brother, shout out to Dawson, we got a little side hustle. We do wedding and photography and video work, right? And I find that whether I'm doing photo or video, the best, especially photo, but with both of them, the best moments to capture are the real and authentic moments. I hate doing the stage stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I love shooting video so much, because I don't have to stage any of that. I just hang back and shoot. And I feel like we would have such a better product on here with the challenge, talking about the main show again, if you just sit back, because you know stuff's going to happen. My goodness. Just let them hang. Let them party out by the pool and stuff.
Let them be bored and figure out what they want to do for fun.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like the last time on the main show that we got something like that, where it's just they're bored, let them figure out how to entertain themselves, was Johnny Bananas had his sister write a bunch of notes, and he left them.
that was a little bit of like pre-planning. Like, he knew that it was just going to get people stirred up.
I know, but it was just something like, oh, everybody's bored, let me slip these notes anonymously and let them freak out and try and figure out who it is.
Even going back to like Rivals 2, which we just watched in the off season, like at one point, like 5 people dressed up as ninjas and like covered their faces, and then just threw water balloons at everybody sleeping. And what, like you don't have to manufacture like, they're going to get bored, they're going to do things, and if you cast well, then you don't need to. Now, I will say, if you have a bunch of people like Casey and Big T and things like that, sure, you might have to script some things because you're not going to get much out of it otherwise. But I guess I didn't put together that the night outs are almost all exposition planning for what's next.
That's it. That's all it is.
Like, you get
That's not fun to
get like
watch.
10 seconds of like a dance montage with music, and then it's all just talking strategy for what's coming next.
And that's not fun.
Same thing when you're watching a movie, right? Like, you don't want all this exposition.
No,
Like, let's see
that's bad writing. If you have to
Let's
do
see
that.
a fight scene.
Yeah, if you have to do huge exposition dumps, that means you're not conveying the story in a way.
and you don't know how to convey it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the thing. Like, literally, all the stuff that happened in this prom was fun to watch, but wasn't game strategy. And we did have some things come out of it. Like, you had the Tyler thing. You had people just having fun dancing. You had, Ayanna and Leah kind of, hey, we're going to kill this tomorrow. Let's, no matter what happens, let's have fun. Mm-hmm. And then in a more serious turn, you had Derek, like John A. kind of like, hey, something's going on with you. And like, this is like, it took a big
cut.
left turn. I didn't,
Yeah.
that's weird phrasing. But, yeah, it's, I
didn't mean it like that.
I know. It's just, I was literally just about to say, like, they hadn't hinted at, he hadn't said anything. We hadn't seen him be, like, upset, which I don't know how he
Yeah,
I have
wasn't.
no idea.
I don't know how he came out.
Yeah.
And I'm not questioning, like, you're not going to hear any of us be like, he shouldn't have been on this. Like,
No.
You deal with it how you feel
Yeah.
like is best to
Yeah.
deal with it. I just,
And I think,
man.
I think his reasoning makes sense for the situation.
Yes.
Because he was like, she was my biggest fan. She always wanted me to compete. My family told me that it's what she would want is for me to come out here.
Well,
And so,
she knew that he was cast already
Yeah.
because she took her own life, 2 days before he left?
I think he said the day before.
Or the day
Yeah.
before, 1 or 2 days before
Yeah.
he left. But he said how she kept saying how excited she was to watch him.
I just don't know I don't know how he kept it together up until like day 2 or day 3 of this thing.
And he hadn't even really broken. It was
No.
just that he was not being as energetic and outgoing as John A. thought that he should be.
Yeah, and again, they did the Real World together for a long time. They did multiple challenge seasons together. I didn't know that they knew each other before the Real World. And like, she had lived with him.
Yeah.
Like, on his couch.
She said they worked at the same bar together and then both got cast on The Real World. And then after that, she didn't have anywhere to go, so she slept on his couch for a while.
Yeah,
Which that's a real friend.
I mean, I just, like, again, like, shout out to Derek just for, doing what she would have wanted in this situation, because I just can't even imagine going through. Like, I genuinely don't know how he was able to just, like, hang out and interact in all those situations going through that. But, I mean, I never in a million years would have guessed that was going on behind the scenes.
Well, we wish him and his family nothing but the best. Hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
And like, it's a tough situation because, going into it, like, the odds are stacked against him, and, like, especially now that there's this, like, extra, like, weight of, like, real life stuff outside of it. You want to see him succeed now. Obviously, we're rooting for Nehemiah just because we like Nehemiah. We've talked to him. But you're like, man, this is, like, in between a rock and a hard place on who to root for.
Right.
Just because we know Nehemiah. And then you see this, and you're like, man, it's going to be an uphill battle. So they go to the elimination. They're calling it the arena. I don't remember if that's what it was called last year or not, or last All-Stars. Which, by the way, if anyone's listening to this, apparently spoilers for All-Stars 3 are rampant on Twitter right now.
Whoa, why?
So be careful out there. I haven't seen it, but Kelsey and some other people have said, hey, just watch out if you're out there. But I have anything associated with that all muted, and so. Well,
I've been mostly off of Twitter for the last few weeks, so
be careful.
I'll just stay off for a
while. So TJ does announce that they're not playing as teams, which is what I kind of suspected, because you don't want to, like, if someone just gets screwed over with a really bad daily partner and they tank it, which Ayanna, in this situation, she was the reason why they lost. You don't want to have your fate for $500,000 tied to that person.
Oh, I would say she wouldn't have been the reason they lost this time.
No. That's right.
Oh no, we're gonna get into it. Like, it's called dead weight. And they said there's 300-pound coffins. Do you think hers were 300? I think the girls round was 300 pounds too. Because look, I mean, Nehemiah's strong, and
listen, this
Ayanna killed it.
There's no way.
That's kind of how I feel too.
This take the male female aspect out of it. Nehemiah exercises regularly, trains for this. I think we can make a fair assessment and say that if Ayanna did do any training, it ain't up to the standard.
Well, again, she's got a lot of real world responsibilities Nehemiah doesn't have. She's got 4 kids. Nehemiah is, again, we don't know if he's seen anybody, but he's single. He's got a great dog. But, like, he was, like, out there boxing and stuff. Like, he's in good shape.
Well, it's not Ricky sign, people. Yeah. Like Albert Pujols said.
Yeah.
Just take a look at the physiques.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right? Like, I mean.
But Ayanna has something Nehemiah does not have.
She does.
That is called mom strength.
I know, but
not just any mom strength. Mom strength times 4.
I do understand that, but it's just like Nehemiah was literally moving those, like, 3 inches at a time.
Yeah.
And he is a strong dude.
I mean, dude, she was pulling that like I pulled groceries out of my vehicle.
Hey, I mean, again.
I think there's
again. Put a child under a car.
There was no child under
Nehemiah or Ayanna who's going to pick that car up.
I showed you the clip from Rocket Man last week.
I'm telling you.
Call me mommy.
I wouldn't be surprised if the women's were 100 pounds lighter.
I think
I was thinking between 150 and 200 pounds total.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I hope we can get to the bottom of that at some point, talking to somebody on the show. But I kind of hope it's not just so she, like, destroyed that.
I mean,
she picked it up.
She, like,
almost tipped it over.
She, like, hooked it up like she was, like, an ox, like, plowing a field, and just, like, took it over. But look, let's do the guys round first.
And ran with it.
So they go. The coffins are varying degrees. Like, one of them has no puzzles. The other two, and I don't mind this elimination. I think it's a good mix.
It was a pretty good elimination.
It's a good mix of strength, endurance, and puzzles. And for some reason, Nehemiah was struggling on that puzzle, and we paused it, and I figured it out in like 10 seconds.
Okay. Well, also, we know how I am with math. I figured it out in about a minute.
Yeah.
And like if I figured it out, that's saying something.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, the answer has to. I don't even remember what it was now. I was like 22.
It was 22.
Yeah, I was like, it's 22, right? I was like, well, it can't. I was like, I got to be missing something for him to have 10 and then have 20.
He had 20, then 21, then 10.
Yeah, and but I don't know. Again, when you're in the moment and like competing, like your brain does a lot of different things. But I mean, they're like, I legitimately like when they started and I saw how hard he was struggling. I was like, I believe it was Tina that said it. I was just like, I don't know how Derek is going to move these things that well. Which, and shout out to him for, competing. He got one all the way over there. Because Tina said it. She's like, I don't know how he's going to do it. And
I like the puzzle aspect because where you have Nehemiah, who's clearly a lot stronger than Derek, he struggled at that puzzle, so that gave Derek time to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, Nehemiah wins, but it was closer than it probably should have been.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a good equalizer because you have people who are super strong, but they're big dummies, and then you have other people who are great at puzzles, but not that strong. And so I'm not saying either are those people, but I like just having like a multifaceted elimination. So Nehemiah wins, kind of what you would expect, and then going into this, you're like, Ayanna's going to win, right? Like,
well,
I didn't expect it to happen the way that it did.
Has there been...
It blew me away.
Anyone. Now, look, I understand these people are, they're aged, but have we ever seen anyone be more physically unprepared?
Oh yeah.
You think
I didn't know
so?
where you're. No. I didn't know where you were going with that. I'm agreeing. Like, yeah, I know what you're saying.
There were two aspects of this women's elimination that just absolutely astonished me. I was flabbergasted.
Well, before the elimination even started, like they did the tunnel walkouts. Like Ayanna ran out of there like she's gonna run through the walls.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like looked like she's like, I'm ready to go. And then Leah came out like, hey guys, I hope I win.
Yeah.
And
Leah couldn't figure out how to open the carabiner.
Yeah.
And she had the whole house yelling at her like, hey, you gotta pull it, twist it, clip it.
Yeah, it's a safety mechanism to where if you're
actually a bop it she was working with.
if you're
Stop it. Twist it.
If you are using if for carabiners for actual climbing, it's a locking thing so that way you can't accidentally push the thing in and it come off.
Yeah.
Like it does, but she's like, it's broke, I can't do it. And I'm like, no, come on.
You take a breath.
Yeah.
And then slowly get it open. So that was the first part that really astonished me because I was like, why on earth can she not open this?
Yeah.
And then Ayanna.
We
nearly picked that coffin up and threw it over her shoulder and started sprinting.
I mean, this is as close to a backpack moment that I can remember, or the Big Easy throwing Wes through the thing. It was literally she was a woman possessed and had the strength of all four of her kids yelling for her.
Yeah.
Took over.
It's like her kids were in the coffin and she had to drag it to keep them safe or alive.
I legitimately was flabbergasted with how insane she just went at this.
I didn't have words. I couldn't even take notes at first. I had to just sit there and watch.
She just went to another level. And she smoked her. It's unreal how much she beat her by. And she starts yelling, which we can't say it. It would be a great episode title.
Yeah, it would.
But she was powerful as, yeah. And I was like, yeah. I was like, you summed it up perfectly. And then the thing that I've never seen before, I don't think we ever have seen, and I think it was 100% genuine.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Because they had a connection.
She goes to Leah and she's like, no, we're going to finish this. We're going to do it. Because Leah couldn't even, she moved it 3 feet.
Her first coffin.
And Ayanna grabs it and then half the crowd starts crying. Kendall lost it.
She was weeping.
Kendall, it was she was saying her last goodbyes to someone on hospice or something. She was crying so hard, and then you had Katie crying. You had
Latarian.
Yeah, Jasmine and John A crying. Then you had Latarian.
He had to walk away.
It was a special moment
for sure
because it was just so unexpected and so genuinely like, hey, no, we're going to do this.
You're not going out like this. You're going to finish this, and I'm going to help you do it.
And like the one clip they showed last week from Ayanna in the past is like she takes this stuff to heart. Like she's like, this is real to me. Like this is what I do. Like I sleep in my uniform, and like some people would have done that and it would have been for show. And I was like, no, I think she would have done that every day of the week if the cameras weren't there.
Yeah,
that's the heart of a real competitor with real sportsmanship.
That's one of the most like endearing moments I've ever seen on the show.
I mean, she definitely got some fans after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they played "Wind Beneath My Wings" behind it.
And it was so
and then the
funny.
montage of everyone crying. And
it was so
like
funny.
this show is just a home run.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's so good.
It feels like there's a whole different crew of editors for this versus the main show.
I don't know. It's just like, it's perfect. And again, it's just great casting. Yeah, it's some oddballs like Leah, but then you have other people that make up for it. And so then TJ, comes out, lets them know that, hey, if you win eliminations, you get power, you get a life shield, which we had last season, and they just abandoned it halfway through. So I hope that's...
What was the consequences? It was because the people weren't willing to accept the consequences of it. They didn't want to use it.
It was because the main thing was people didn't know if you did it, what would happen. Because, like, basically, if someone was going into elimination, you could save them.
But do you have to pick who goes?
And nobody wanted that political pressure, and so they kind of just got rid of it. And so now he says what you can do is you can save someone once they're nominated or someone who loses a daily. But if you use the life shield, you don't have a vote in the selection process. So you can save yourself or someone else. So if you win... like say you have like your best friend is going up, you can use it to save them. But it's done after the next daily, I would assume. Like you don't get to keep it the rest of the season. Like you got to use it in like the next window, I would think.
No idea.
I think that's how it was last season. And I think that's how it was in old seasons. Was you have this life shield, and for the next daily, you can use it to save yourself if you do really bad, or save someone but you don't have to use it. But I like that if you win an elimination, you get rewarded. And I like we all said, the worst people in the daily have to go in, or at least are potentially going in. So
this is the formula.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's such a good show already.
Well, what do we think the likelihood is that either Derek or Leah do this again?
Leah, no chance.
I don't think so.
Derek, maybe.
Yeah.
I think Derek could be a guy in All Stars 3 or All Stars 4, something like that, where he's like, last time I was here, there was other things going on, obviously, and I wanted to come back and get a redemption because I wasn't expecting to go in first. Leah,
this ain't for her.
No. I feel like they're like, oh, it's interesting because her and Kendall went against each other in elimination 20 years ago, but it's just like there's very few misses in the cast. I think that was one of them.
That was one.
I can't think of anyone. Like, is there anyone else that you just kind of stands out as a miss? Like, I mean, Arissa last season was kind of a disaster,
but she had some crazy watchability to her.
She and Leah is like a doorstop. Like, it's nothing you care to watch. Sorry if you listen to this.
I don't know, man.
The guys all seem solid. All the rest of the girls seem pretty solid.
Yeah.
They all have like interesting backstories and stuff. Even like the guys, like we didn't know Steve, we didn't know Sophia, and like Sophia's like, hey, I quit my job for 20 years. I'm here to just kind of like in the next part of my life, and like it looks like she's gonna have a decent storyline in the next episode.
Somebody that'll do that, she's going to jump fully in, and she's going to do what it takes.
I mean, I'm looking over the cast list right now, and I don't see another person on here that I'd be like, oh, they shouldn't have been on the show. Like, Leah this wasn't it for her.
Yeah.
And so, everybody else seems solid so far. I will say, no disrespect to Derek, but he was the last pick in the draft when we did this draft.
Also,
and Ayanna was the next to last pick. just because we didn't know.
Why did I think I had Ryan?
I have Ryan.
Yeah, I was sure. I was so sure when Derek got selected for the nomination. I was like, oh, thank gosh it was Derek because I have Ryan.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the opposite.
So, yeah, again, I think, again, Jake had said to us before, oh, it's a good episode. And, like, I would rather maybe watch this again than to watch, it's just the quality level is just everything we want. And honestly, I've not heard anything bad about All Stars since it started. Both seasons. Everyone's like, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's so good.
Well, I am going to call out these goofy Facebook.
See, I'm not. I have all those muted.
I won't say his last name. Mr. Billy here. Unpopular opinion. All Stars 2 episode was cringe AF.
Why?
I saw that.
For
I saw
what
that.
reason?
I saw that before we watched, and I was like, "Oh no!"
But like, what's his reasoning?
Well, he did. That was it. To which people actually responded, "I can see why you say that." To which y'all are just wanting to talk. That's all it is. Y'all are just manufacturing that. Sometimes an opinion, it's not even an opinion. It's just you want to hear yourself talk, and you want to stir up conversation as if to be at the center of it. This is just it's not a bad take, it's a wrong take.
I didn't see it. I'm in most of those groups, but I just, to avoid spoilers, I just have all of them muted, and so I have to like seek them out to go look at them. Because a lot of times we don't watch the episode right when it airs, and so I don't want to see something that influences. Because I like to, when we watch all of these, I don't like to know who won or who won eliminations, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to know anything.
So I think that's a strange stance. The only thing that I've seen people say negative in like our Slack group was just the stuff between Derek and Nehemiah seems forced. But if that's the worst thing you've got, this season's a home run.
Yeah.
So I hope it just keeps up with that. And again, I think the one weak person in the cast, like personality, watchability wise, is gone now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So superlatives for this episode. I think we should unanimously. Ayanna smashed everyone's head and destroyed everything. And
that was mine.
Yeah.
For sure.
Honorary mention of Derek.
Oh yeah. No, which one?
Derek C.
Cause that's what confused me at first. I was like, wait, why?
Yeah.
I agree with that. But yeah, Ayanna just unforgettable. Like I think we'll remember that moment for the rest of our lives.
Forever.
So who got their head smashed?
Derek Kaczynski by the whole entire house by getting ripped apart for his outfit. Coulda said it looked like he took the sheets off of a 10-year-old's bed.
Which is kind of true.
I'm going to go with Han here. Got her head smashed because one of the all-time greats, Darrell, was wearing Crocs.
Heck
Do
yeah!
not.
Somebody
sent it in the Slack group,
and
I got I was so mad.
I'm wearing them right now.
Yeah. Mint green.
Yeah.
They're disgusting.
That is an ugly color, Zach.
They are disgusting.
No,
he did that on purpose.
The mint green?
Yes.
Yes. What I did was I was like, all right, if I'm buying Crocs, I was like, I'm buying the most like obnoxious color I can find.
God.
So I bought mint green ones. They show dirt a lot, so I got to wash them every so often. Yeah. They're real dirty right now.
So nasty.
But now, these are my indoor ones. I have a pair of dark gray outdoor ones. And so
nothing makes me madder.
You should get a pair of Crocs for each surface.
Concrete, I agree. Sand,
hardwood, carpet.
Yeah, I have to change within the house.
Nope.
You just slide them off as you transfer into different areas.
I should get enough to where I have like a pair for each room.
Oh my god,
that would be so.
I'm fully committed to this.
Would you do that?
I'm gonna buy some that have the fur inside of them.
We're not.
Or like as you go
into
this
game.
Ones you sleep in, even.
Yeah.
When you walk into the bedroom, let me slide these off and slide these bed Crocs on.
I would do it just because it would make her so upset. I don't think I could sleep well with shoes on, but
I would buy another house, and I would not live with him if he did that.
Well, shout out to Darrell. So what's yours?
I said mine already.
Did you? I don't remember.
We got to talk about Crocs. He just went to another realm. Yeah.
I gotta give it to Kendall because like she was weeping like in such a way that I was like, I can't believe how moving this is to her. Which it was a great moment.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I just think it was so unexpected.
I had a note right before the end where I said, I don't know who's crying more, Kendall or Latarian.
They showed multiple, like they showed that one cutaway of Latarian, but like Kendall was like there, like the mascara was running, and it was like, oh, and it's a great moment. It's one of the, I can't say it's like a top 5 elimination moment, but
a crazy flip for Ayanna.
Yeah.
I mean, she was the only one falling off, so you're thinking like, man,
yeah,
like she's gonna be one of the weaker ones, and now it's like
good,
she's gonna be one of the first girls picked if there's any like more team stuff.
And you know what it did? No one is gonna want to go against her in elimination,
right?
Because they're like, oh my god, what just happened?
Yeah. So
that may have secured her. She was my last pick because we were so unknown about her.
I know
That might have secured her way down the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what a showing. I had -80 after last week. I better get off
Hand's gonna take a real hit because her
know.
bottom 2 went home.
I know.
So, I mean,
well, let's go ahead and let's get into it.
Yeah. Well, Derek C has a fire under.
Well, hold
his,
on. Is this sponsored by anybody?
Who?
Super Soaker.
That's
we
what it was.
did
Because I had to look up the guy who invented Super Soaker.
You want to get wet?
Yeah.
No, there was something about a T-shirt. Put on a T-shirt. Get wet. Super Soaker.
Sounds like a threat.
I think it was throw on a T-shirt and get soaked. Super Soaker.
That's it. Throw on a T-shirt.
No,
get soaked.
I like. You want to put on a
Super
T-shirt and get wet?
Yeah, there'll be different variations of it as we go.
All right, here we go.
Derek C has a fire under his butt. 5 points. Darrell wears Crocs. 10 points.
Heck yeah.
Oh.
Hanny's on your team.
I know.
So
I don't want them.
do you want -10?
I'll take.
No,
hey,
I don't want negative
me.
10.
No, we can't do that.
I know.
I'm going to give 10 points to Ayanna for the quote, you can't choose who you run against in a track meet.
That's true.
Let's see. Nehemiah wants Derek C and Ryan. -5 to Derek C and Ryan.
Whoa.
Steve thinks that...
Oh, hold on 1 second.
What'd you do?
I'm doing it on the template and not on the...
Oh, my Lord. You need me to reset.
I need you to just reset real quick. I didn't realize that it scrolled up when I was looking at names. So
Yeah,
Darrell's got 10.
Derek C has 5.
Derek C has 5.
Ayanna has 10.
Ayanna's got 10.
Derek
and
C and Ryan had -5.
That's all. I got it all.
Steve thinks that Derek K's outfit is comic relief. -5 to Derek K. Tech thinks it's dope. 5 to Derek K.
But Tech can pull stuff like that off.
Tina thinks he's in a retirement home. -5.
I forgot about that one.
Kendall loves it. 5 points. And Kahutta thinks it's bed sheets off a 10-year-old's bed. -5.
Yeah.
Just,
He's -5 overall.
Derek wants to vote Steve in for making fun of his outfit. -5 to Steve. We're going to give -15 to Steve, Derek, Leah, and Casey for being nominated.
Steve, Derek C.
Yeah. Leah and Casey.
Man, I don't have any of them. All right.
Let's see. Leah has 0 relationships with people in the house. That's a -10. Bad look.
Yeah.
Casey has relationships with 95% of the house. 10 points. You gotta go the other way.
Yeah, I got it.
Nehemiah's boxing. I gotta give him 5 because I manage a kickboxing gym.
He had some power behind those punches.
Yeah,
I know.
Good form. Sad Jody. -5.
Where's Joe? Oh, there she is.
I'm gonna give 10 points to Nehemiah for the quote, "My future kids cannot eat legacy."
I mean, that is a little cringy.
So, Ayanna's coming with a capital Y on her chest. 5 points.
Yeah, I didn't understand that quote at
Yeah,
first.
I didn't either.
I think she said with, but then I think she said something that like WHY, like this is why I'm doing it. Like
I don't know. It's still so. I just 5 points.
You're confused, so you went positive.
Let's give 10 points to Team Cancun. Jasmine, John A, and Derek C. All on Hannah's team. She got the Team Cancun.
Yep.
She needs CJ and I don't even remember who else.
Jasmine is the wrong B. 5 points. Ryan wants to punch Nehemiah in the throat. -10 to Nehemiah because that is trouble. -25 to Derek C and Leah. They got voted in. 10 points to Nehemiah and Ryan for their spat. Ayanna said energy. -5. Anytime somebody says vibe and energy, yeah.
-5.
Yeah. But she hyping everybody. 10 points. We're going to give 10 points for the second cousin Tundra.
Okay. He's not on here. She's not on
Tyler.
here. How many?
10. I'm also going to give Tyler 10 points for being good with intentions, but horrible with boundaries.
Okay.
That's always fun.
Yeah. We're going to give 5 to MJ for escorting Tundra, for having the privilege.
And that tuxedo shirt.
Yeah. Kendall needs a date. -5. Would have loved to have helped her out with that. Am I right, Han?
Yeah.
Where's Kendall? Oh, okay.
She's married, though, so you can't. Yeah. You got to respect a marriage.
You're right. You're right. Nehemiah smells good. 5 points. Where's the stuff used to make elephants? 5 points. We got a single mom.
That quote.
Make elephants.
Well, in a roundabout way, yes. He said to mate elephants.
To mate.
Oh, okay.
When elephants mate.
It's a musk.
That. Yeah. We got a single mom bond here. Ayanna and Leah, 5 points. That may be the only positive points Leah gets.
Probably.
Likely.
Did she have any last week? She had 5 and then -10, so she ended up with -5 for the week.
We're going to give 20 points to Derek C for being here for his sister. I'm going to give 5 points to Jasmine for the quote, "We're such moms." 10 points for the sister tat for Derek. We're going to give 5 to John A for the artwork. We get a Nehemiah flex, 5 points. But he's pulling a baby elephant in the sand, -5. Tina says Nehemiah's a very fit man, 5 points.
Oh, to Nehemiah.
Yeah. Let's see. Jasmine needs for Derek to fight for everyone in the world. Seems like
it's a lot of responsibility.
-5 to Derek. Also -5 to Jasmine for that being a need. Yeah. It's a lot of weight to put on a man.
I forgot she said that.
Nehemiah wins, 75. Derek C loses, -50. Nehemiah says the people's champion is still here, 10 points.
Who's the people's champion in wrestling?
The Rock.
That's what I thought.
Team Cancun is wrecked. -10 to Jasmine and John A. Ayanna's feeling all powerful, 5 points. Leah doesn't know how to work carabiners, -15.
Oh my god.
Ayanna got nothing but the fire right now, 10 points. The coffins are levitating, 10 points. She's intimidating, 5 points. Leah still can't figure out the carabiner, -10. Nehemiah was pulling elephants. Ayanna is pulling cotton balls. -5 to Nehemiah, 5 points to Ayanna. Hey, Leah got the carabiner, 10 points.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. We're going to give 20 to Ayanna for the powerful as, quote. Yeah. 75 to Ayanna. She wins. -50 to Leah. Another -10 because she lost incredibly bad. Ayanna helps Leah finish, 20 points. We're gonna give we'll give Leah an honorary 10 for getting 1. So
the bare minimum.
She finished.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't finish.
She finished the first one.
Yeah.
10 points to both Ayanna and Leah for mom power. And 20 points to Nehemiah and Ayanna for the life shields.
All right, we got to remember that going forward.
Yes. Also, like the -15 for being nominated. We got to remember that too. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is your fantasy points for the week. Again, this segment is brought to you by Throw on a Shirt and Get Soaked.
Super Soaker.
We'll be right back. Hey, we're back. Hey, one last time.
Hey.
Hey.
Been watching a lot of Happy Days.
You want to
Or
throw
The
on a shirt
Office.
and get soaked?
Super Soaker.
Let's go.
All right, so I'm gonna run through everyone's individual scoring. It is so top heavy, bottom heavy, and then like nothing in the middle. Darrell got 10. Kohutta nothing, but he just didn't even score. Tyler got 20. Kendall -5. John A 5. Jasmine 5. Leah -100.
Yeah.
Derek C -55. Brad didn't score. Nehemiah 130. Tina didn't score. Latarian didn't score. Janelle didn't score. Ryan ended up with 5. Katie didn't score. Ayanna ended up with 200. Ayanna ended up with 205.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zach.
130 and 205.
Yeah. Derek K -5. Jody -5. MJ 5. Casey -5. Tech didn't score. Steve -20, and then Melinda and Sophia didn't score. It's like so top. Like I had Nehemiah and Ayanna destroyed everyone, and then Ryan got 5 points, and then no one else on my team scored.
Kohutta was the only person on my team that didn't score.
Yeah, and then you had the two biggest negatives.
I had very minimal scoring.
You had minimal scoring, but all of it was negative except for MJ got 5 points for escorting Tyler to the prom.
Yeah,
or Tundra. So for the week, Jake has -30.
Okay.
Hannah has -120.
Yeah.
And I have 340. So I had -80. So the standings after the first week were I was in last place with -80. Hannah was in second place with 40. And Jake was in third place with 70. Well, it's completely changed now. Hannah is in last place with -80. So she took my score, basically. Jake has 40. He took Hannah's score. Yeah. And I have 260. So Ayanna and Nehemiah destroyed everyone.
What a wild week, man.
It is wild because what happened was this technically is only 1 week's worth of scoring in a normal All-Stars episode. But we had it split up to where the daily was in episode 1. And so that's where all my negative scoring came from because Ayanna and Nehemiah sucked. And then they just destroyed everything in this episode.
You had both the winners, Han had both the losers.
Yeah. And so it completely flipped. So, Leah and Derek C are out of here. I need to make a note for that.
So automatically, hands down 2 people.
And what wasn't it in the... I don't remember anymore. In one of the seasons we did recently, she just didn't have people go home like ever. I didn't spell that right.
It was... Was it the last All-Stars?
Maybe. I don't remember, but not a good start right now. -80, and you just lost 2 players. Yeah. Now you did lose arguably the 2 weakest players in the show. Mm-hmm. So could be addition by subtraction. But I mean Ayanna as my last pick is looking like a gold mine right now.
Yeah, it is.
And Sophia looks like she was your last pick. She's gonna have a big storyline next time. But yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, so top heavy with Nehemiah and whatever, and then bottom heavy with.
I'm gonna need John A to pull an All Stars Part 2.
Yeah.
Well, Han, it's early on in the game.
I
she
think
could do it.
In 2 weeks, my number 1 pick has got me 5 total points in Brad. He hasn't done anything.
Then Bug Eyes will come out soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, like we said, top show, patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast is Patreon exclusive stuff. Again, our schedule's a little weird for this week, but we'll be back with you as soon as we can. This is the last episode we're going to record before Thanksgiving, so...
Amen.
Amen.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Just go ahead and let's wrap it up.
Amen.
Hey, have a good night. Sorry, hold on. Have a good night, everyone.